Between 2020 and 2023, a wave of military takeovers swept through West Africa. In countries like Mali, Guinea, Niger, and Burkina Faso, governments were overthrown. But one name stands out among the military men behind these coups: Captain Ibrahim Traore, the current leader of Burkina Faso. A relatively unknown soldier until 2022, Traore is now seen by many as the face of Africa's new anti-imperial movement. He's bold, young, and unapologetically independent. And now he's being called the man America fears the most. But how did a captain in the army rise so quickly to power? Why is he so popular among young Africans? And why is the West, particularly the United States, so worried about him? To understand why Ibrahim Traore has become such a powerful figure, we need to look at the situation in Burkina Faso before he arrived on the scene. Burkina Faso is a small landlocked country in West Africa, formerly known as Upper Volta. Since gaining independence from France in 1960, the country has experienced a series of coups, corrupt governments, and economic instability. Despite the presence of Western military forces, especially from France and the United States, jihadist violence in the region kept growing. Entire villages were destroyed, thousands killed, and over 2 million people displaced. Many citizens started asking a tough question. If the foreign powers were here to help, why was the situation only getting worse? By 2022, confidence in the civilian government had collapsed. President Paul-Henri Damiba, who himself had taken power through a coup just months earlier, was failing to contain the violence. People accused him of working too closely with the French and ignoring the suffering of ordinary citizens. Then came Captain Ibrahim Traore. On September 30th, 2022, Traore led a coup against Damiba and took control of the country. He was just 34 years old, making him the youngest head of state in the world at the time. From the beginning, Traore's message was clear: Burkina Faso must take back control of its own destiny. He accused Western powers of interfering in African affairs and failing to truly support the fight against terrorism. Under his leadership, French troops were ordered to leave the country. Military cooperation with Russia was strengthened, and the new government focused on self-reliance. His popularity surged, not only in Burkina Faso, but across the African continent. For many young Africans, Ibrahim Traore represents something they've long hoped for: a new generation of African leadership that is bold, confident, and not afraid to say no to Western influence. This is why his rise has alarmed powerful nations like the United States. American officials have expressed concern about Burkina Faso's increasing closeness to Russia and the rise of anti-Western sentiment. In fact, US intelligence agencies have reportedly warned of multiple assassination attempts on Traore's life, as many as 18, according to local sources. Whether or not foreign governments are involved, the growing fear in the West is clear. Traore is changing the rules. Inside Burkina Faso, Traore has launched a national call to arms. Thousands of volunteers have signed up to defend their communities from extremist groups. He has also promised to fight corruption, improve agriculture, and invest in education. It's a tall order in a country with limited resources and a fragile economy. But Traore's approach has energized a population that had lost hope. Many compare Ibrahim Traore to another famous figure from Burkina Faso's history, Thomas Sankara, the revolutionary leader who ruled in the 1980s. Like Traore, Sankara was a young military officer who rejected Western influence, promoted self-sufficiency, and inspired a generation. But Sankara was assassinated in 1987. His ideas lived on, and now many believe Traore is picking up where Sankara left off. But not everyone supports Traore's vision. Critics argue that he's consolidating too much power and silencing opposition. Others warn that turning to Russia could create new forms of dependency. And then there's the regional impact. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have now formed a new alliance, the Alliance of Sahel States, pledging mutual defense and rejecting interference from foreign powers, especially France and ECOWAS. This new alliance has withdrawn from regional blocs like ECOWAS and is now forming the basis for what some call a West African revolution. The withdrawal of American and French troops from parts of the Sahel marks a turning point. After decades of military presence, Western powers are losing influence. Meanwhile, the Sahel alliance is growing stronger, united by shared frustration and a desire for sovereignty. And at the center of it all is Ibrahim Traore, a soldier-turned-leader who's refusing to play by the old rules. In speeches, he speaks directly to the youth, calling them the future of Africa. He tells them that they are no longer dependent on foreign aid, and that they must rebuild their nations with pride and dignity. Whether he succeeds or fails, one thing is clear. Traore has already changed the conversation. He's challenged the long-standing dominance of foreign powers in Africa. He's inspired a generation that is tired of poverty, war and dependency. And he's done all of this in less than 2 years. So why does America fear Ibrahim Traore? Because he represents a future where African nations choose their own path. A future where young leaders challenge the global status quo. A future where the voices of the people, not foreign powers, decide what comes next. This is not just the story of one man, it's the story of a continent awakening.